Hello everyone, it's Olivia Grace and I'm back with another video for you guys. I am a manifestation coach helping women break through their perceived glass ceiling and achieve their next level in business, life, and or love. Today we are talking about forgiveness and how forgiving and letting go of negative energy and hatred towards others allows you to raise your vibration. All right, you guys, so we're going to get right into it. Before we do though, if you are interested in coaching, I will have a link in the description for you to apply for the group program that is starting August 1st, and also for you to apply to work one-on-one with me. I will also have a link for you to join my Facebook group and be a part of my community. It is free and I would love to have you. All right, guys, so let's get into it and talk about forgiveness. Two of the lowest vibrations that you can feel are shame and guilt, right? And even when you are shaming others or guilting others, that also really lowers your vibration, right? And so when it comes to forgiving people, what holds a lot of people up is that they feel like they're doing themselves a favor by holding on to the anger. They feel like it's like a protection for them, that them holding a grudge and holding on to anger is basically an armor for them to prevent other people from hurting them, or to prevent this person that they're upset with from hurting them again or whatever. Or even some people feel like, well, me being mad at them is teaching them a lesson. But here's what's really going on. You at your core are pure love, and hatred, anger, vengeance is opposite of that. So you're not resonating with your higher self. You're not resonating with your inner being when you are coming from a place of anger, hatred, no matter how wrong the person was. A lot of people get caught up in that, well, they were wrong and they need to apologize and I didn't do anything, so why should I have to forgive them? And, all this blame and blame and blame. There's no one outside of you, first of all. Second of all, your emotions cannot affect other people. They affect you. You holding on to a grudge, holding on to anger, holding on to resentment is only bringing your vibration down. There are a lot of people, even within the spiritual community, that make it a point to exclude certain people. Only these people are enlightened, and we don't like these other people, and this group is only for these certain kinds of people, and we don't like. It's like you're not seeing the bigger picture of the inclusion of love, right? And everybody is waiting on the other person to change, for the other person to evolve, for the other person to be like love, when you can just be that yourself. So of course I have 3 tips, or in this way it's kind of like 3 steps on how to be more forgiving and loving. And the first way to forgiveness is compassion, you guys. What is compassion? Compassion is, it's like empathy, right? So instead of looking at them and looking at yourself and looking at what they did to you and why they're so wrong, try and put yourself in their shoes, right? And even a lot of us will say, well, I don't care if I was in their shoes, I would never do what they did. You don't know that though, because when you're in someone's shoes, you're not just in their shoes at that moment. You're in their shoes from their whole life, from how they were raised, how they were talked to, how they were treated, what they think about themselves, the perspective that they have. All of these things are different in every person, right? And so these are the things that cause us to act the way that we act, right? I have an example that I use about stepping on someone's shoe. Like, let's say somebody steps on your shoe and you just go off and you're, oh my God, like, you watch where you're going, all this stuff. And they're like, oh my God, I'm sorry. Somebody bumped into me actually, and it pushed me into you and made me step on your shoe, right? And so it's not to say that your shoe, your foot that's hurting now isn't relevant, but it's saying that holding on to anger and hurt and looking at them, and you might say, well, I would watch where I was going. I would have made sure I didn't run into somebody. I would have whatever. And this is a trivial example because it's supposed to be, but this is how we act though. I would have done it this way. You don't know what you would have done had you been in that situation, right? So rather than bursting out at other people and getting angry, put yourself in their shoes. Well, dang, if somebody unexpectedly bumped into me and I'm just trying to catch my balance and I accidentally bump into somebody else, how would I want somebody to react to me in that way, right? If somebody's growing up, and honestly, you guys, when people are lashing out at you or people are being rude to you or people are talking down to you, it's because that's how they feel about themselves, and that's probably how people talk to them, right? So they're already in a bad position, basically. They're already feeling low and they're trying to project that onto you. And that's not an excuse for them to do that. But when you can see, like the Buddhist quote, I see that you are suffering, how can I help you suffer less? Rather than you made me suffer and you need to go change but I see you're suffering. You're coming at me out of hatred, out of ignorance, out of whatever, low self-esteem, insecurity. How can I help you suffer less? How can I support you? Right? And that's a very advanced way to be, but start with compassion, you guys. Start with, man, if I was in their shoes, or maybe there's a reason why they are like this. Maybe somebody is talking down to them so much that it makes them like this, right? And so when you think about even like serial killers and crazy like murderer people, they go back into their childhood and they were traumatized as children. You know, they went through horrible, horrific things as children. And of course, that doesn't excuse them like, oh, they're, it's not their fault. They're just murderers. They just went through all this stuff. But it does put things into perspective that where does the hatred end and the forgiveness and love begin? Where do we decide to start to love on people instead of bringing them further down? They're already low. So don't bring them further down. You don't bring yourself further down. Okay? Lift yourself up. And you can do that by being compassionate. Being compassionate. Being compassionate leads to understanding. Okay? So when you put yourself in that other person's shoes and you start to think, well, dang, like maybe they went through something in their life. Maybe they're used to people talking to them like this. Maybe, they don't know how to respect people because nobody's ever respected them. They've never seen respect in their life, right? Then you start to understand, well, man, you know what? Like, if I grew up in a household where I was mentally abused, physically abused, maybe I wouldn't be the person that I am now. Maybe I wouldn't be the whole person that I am now. Maybe I wouldn't be the loving, compassionate person that I am now. Right? And a lot of you, I can hear you now. Oh, yes, I would. I wouldn't take that out on others. But again, you don't know. Some of you maybe have even been through traumatic things and like, I didn't end up like that. I didn't turn it like that. But again, it's not even just what happens, you guys. It's beyond that. It's the perspective. It's how they processed it. It's how they, as an individual, handled what they went through. And that is something that you cannot understand that unless you were to actually become them, right? So we're all one anyway. You might as well just accept them and love them and forgive them. Now, forgiveness doesn't mean bringing people back into your life, right? And this is the next part. After you are compassionate, you can understand them. After you're understanding them, you can truly forgive them, right? One, you want to see them as the God that they are. See them as everyone is God. Everyone is God manifested, right? No one is higher or lower than the other. But this person is just expressing a lower version of himself. But I know that at his highest of high, he is still God. And I'm going to respect and honor and see that in him, right? Or her. So forgiveness and letting it go, because you guys, you're doing yourself a favor. Forgiveness is actually something that you want to practice almost daily. Forgiving even, just simple things. That person that cut you off in traffic, that little argument that you got in with your sibling, your mom that you've held a grudge for years against because of that one thing she did, right? Like, you're holding on to all these things and it's weighing you down. It's weighing your vibration down. Erykah Badu has a song, Bag Lady, where that's what she's talking about. You're carrying all these bags. Like, you're carrying all this baggage. You're carrying all this hatred, all this anger, all this negative energy, thinking that you're doing yourself a favor, thinking that this is how you stand up for yourself. But how you really become strong is knowing that no one can make you different. No one can make you do anything. You are God. You decide how you are. You decide who you are. And no one can infringe on that right that you have. And also that everybody is going through their own thing, you guys. It's not, yes, it's all about you, but in their world, it's all about them. and you don't know what they're going through to make them be like that. And again, it's not excusing it. It's not saying to put up with people that treat you wrong, but it's saying not to hold on to whatever pain that they've caused, because it just does not serve you. Okay? So I hope this helped you. I intend that this helped you. And I'll have another video in just a second. I'm going to record that one next. You guys have a beautiful day.